Anyways, prior to my press conference last week, the mayor released a statement that stated he had a problem with how I approached this matter. I'm directing this to the mayor, but really to the citizens of Bethlehem, because I want everybody to know exactly where I came from and how I was feeling at the time. In early June, it came to my attention that 3 employees, 1 ex and 2 current, were upset about something, and it was also reported on June 14th, and we had ramblings by a blogger, Bernie O'Hara. I had a discussion with 2 council members after a meeting down in the garage. I told them what I heard, and we had a discussion about it. That was early June. I had sat on that for probably about two months and did not know what to do. And I was still hearing concerns. I was also hearing from developers and businessmen, contractors, that the permit process was extremely slow. What was supposed to be taking 2 weeks was now 2, 3, sometimes 4 months, and in one case I heard 5 months. So eventually, in late summer, I called the mayor and I told him what I'd heard, and I asked him to verbally look into it. He said at the time that he didn't have a problem with it, but he wanted everybody under oath. I said, I agree. I really didn't want anybody fabricating anything or making anything up. If they wanted to be put under oath, I had no problem with it. So, Mayor, I discussed this issue with you verbally, made you aware of the situation and what I had heard several months ago. Your comment back was, again, that you want everybody under oath. And after I heard that, there was no response back. Nothing. I heard nothing back for probably about two months. I want to note, at that point, it was strictly confidential and strictly between myself and the mayor, and also the 2 council members that I spoke to. I then asked, after no response and hearing nothing back, and usually when, Mayor, I give you credit. I mean, most of the time, if I call you up, and not just myself, I'm sure everybody on council, you get back to us in a timely manner on almost anything that we would come up with. This, I heard nothing about for 2 months. And it was then that I asked you to go into executive session in the summer so that the matter could be dealt with in a private manner with full counsel and both solicitors present, and it was denied. You denied it. Note, at that point, it was still confidential, and I was trying to address it so that it remained confidential in executive session. Mayor, you denied it, not me. So now we're almost 3 months in. I had a conversation with the council members, kept it private, early June. I had a conversation with you, early summer, and then I had asked to go to executive session in late summer. It was still confidential. So I tried 3 times to handle this what I thought was the right way and fair to everybody. Because if it was true, I think we needed to look into it. If it wasn't, it could have been kept quiet and no harm to anybody. I didn't want any harm to Ms. Carn if it wasn't true. And if it was true, I thought it needed to be looked into. So I had kept this quiet for over 3 months. I had a conversation with you, I kept it quiet, heard nothing back. Asked to go to executive session, heard nothing back. It was denied. I then sent you a letter on October 17th explaining what I had told you verbally in the summer. I explained in the letter all the facts that I know other than the names of the individuals. It is not my job to out them. It is your department and your employees. I suggested that your BA, Mr. Evans, and your solicitor, Mr. Leeson, who I totally trust, and they're your guys, not mine, just simply interview the employees in the department to find out the truth. Your reply back to me was in a letter that you clearly indicated that you were not looking into the issue. You stated to me, quote, your memo of October 21 does not provide sufficient cause to conduct the investigation requested, unquote. You asked me to, in that letter, you asked me to produce documents, names, particulars, and indicia. corroboration. Mayor, you know that I nor anyone else on council has the authority to investigate or interview your department employees or department head. Note, at this time, this is now October, it was still confidential, other than President Waldron, who was copied in the memo, Solicitor Spurk, who was copied in the memo, on council side, and on the mayor's side, Solicitor Leeson, Business Administrator Evans, and yourself on the administration side. That was it. It was still confidential. I referenced an investigation, but never brought up the topic of it at a city council meeting. Only after your comments to council on November 19th that I had somehow attacked Ms. Carner from my council seat, never moved, but I guess I had a tone, by simply asking a pointed, what I thought a fair question. It was only then that this issue became public. Your comments tried to insinuate that my questioning of Ms. Carner was totally meritless, unfounded, unwarranted, and out of the blue, but you knew where I was coming from with both issues. On November 20th, you then sent me a memo asking for me now to come in for an interview. You wanted me to talk now, after all this. You wanted me to talk to Mr. Leeson, Mr. Evans, only because I explained to Mr. Evans that after your comments to council on November 19th, that I shared the information that I had with the press. It was then and only then that you wanted to now to discuss the issue that I had raised and that I had tried to keep confidential for many months. I offered you 3 different opportunities to look into the seriousness of the issues that I made you aware of. We would not be in the situation that we are currently in had you simply looked into the allegations months ago when you were first notified. You denied any action all 3 times. I tried to keep it quiet. I tried to keep it between us. I tried to keep it at a point where I trust Mr. Evans and I trust Mr. Leeson. And I said that in my memo. I trust them wholeheartedly to do what's fair and be fair to everybody. To be fair to Ms. Carner, be fair to the residents of Bethlehem. So, I'm asking you simply to ask the employees in the question department if there's any truth to the issues that were brought to not only my attention, but were also reported by Lehigh Valley Ramblings blogger Bernie O'Hare back in June. He has a pretty good track record on things. And in his blog, he mentioned that 3 individuals, I don't know if they're the same 3 that I had heard references to, but I would assume. I'm also asking that the employees be advised of the Pennsylvania Whistleblowers Act under oath. If there's a way to swear them in, Mr. Leeson, is there a way to swear, if the mayor did do an investigation, is there a way to have people from the department sworn under oath? Because I don't want any fabrication. If they're disgruntled employees, I don't want them making anything up to harm Ms. Carner. I don't, but I want the truth. And I think all of us want the truth. Right, Mayor? All right. And that's all I've asked for the whole time, was just, hey, look into it. And that's it. I don't want to be talking about this. I did not want to have a press conference. I told the press that I don't want to be here. But what else? I had 2 options after your memo back to me. It was either drop it and forget about it and never bring it up again, or I had to push it to the next level. You made that decision for me when you made those comments to council at the last meeting. I had no other option, especially with the memo that I got. What else was I going to do? Mr. Antalik's suggestion, I would hope that we could all agree on working on this, just to find out what happened. If nothing happened, this is a shame that we had to go through this. But if something happened, I think it needs to be dealt with. I would prefer to, I trust Mr. Evans and Mr. Leeson to do an investigation, a fair one. And I told you, if they come back and say there's nothing here, I had no problem. You never heard of me again. But I was denied. So I had no choice. And after what I felt was an attack on me, you didn't mention me, but come on, it was direct. Effort to move forward on this, because this doesn't look good. it doesn't look good for the whole city of Bethlehem. And I had someone call me up and ask me, hey, did you send someone down to the permits departments? I guess someone went down there because they read in the paper. I would never do that. But I guess a resident whose permit has been taken 3-4 months went down there and was yelling at employees. And I had a friend call me, hey, did you send? No. And I would never do that to them. But I want to get it over with. And I think had we looked, just asked the question. It could have took 5 minutes. Hey, did this happen? Yes or no? If they all say no, it's over with. But if one of them says yes, then you got some homework to do. But what was I going to do after 3 denials? I don't know. So, I had told Mr. Bedoni that I accepted your invitation to come back in and talk with you guys. How it was tried to look like I was the one not cooperating is beyond me. I mean, whoever wrote that memo, kudos to him. Because I had tried all along to try to keep this quiet and professional and confidential for months. So I'm asking, please, could you have Mr. Evans and Mr. Leeson interview the people, put them under oath if you like. I would prefer them under oath because I don't want anybody that maybe doesn't like Ms. Corner fabricating anything, to be fair to her. And that's all I'm asking, so we can get over this. If not, would you be willing to go to the state ethics, as Mr. Antalik said? I don't have a problem. I just want to get to the bottom of what happened. That's it. So, with those remarks, I'm finished with it. You'll never hear me bring it up again. And if everybody's good sitting on it, that's up to the rest of the council. But I want you to notice, Mr. Reynolds, I'm not attacking you, right? You said at one meeting to me, you weren't sure what was upsetting to me and what was angering me. That's what it was. And I know you didn't know about it. So you didn't know about it because no one else on council knew about it. The only people on council knew about it was myself and Mr. Waldron. And at that time, I didn't even bring it up. When you said to me, I don't know what's angering you and why you had it, but, I think your statement was, I think sometimes I agree with the things that you say, and sometimes I disagree. But the one thing you said to me is your tone. I had a tone for a reason. And I felt like, hey, I tried to handle this one-on-one, right? And I tried 3 different times to keep it confidential, and I got stonewalled, and that's why I was pissed. I even asked all of us as a council, because I think in the long run, when all the information comes out, I'm going to be right on a few things, that it's all tied together. And that's why I asked all of us, I think over 4 meetings, over 2 months, for all of us to go to executive session. Why wouldn't we want to know what happened to an employee? I don't know. I mean, in a school district, if an employee is fired by an administration, the school board is known about it and told about it. We not only, I asked them to go to executive session, denied it. And no one else wanted to know about it. And that's what I was getting at. I didn't say a word to anybody. No one knew about it because I was trying to keep it confidential. So I don't know at what point, where this got off track, but you'll never hear me have another tone again in here about it because I'm done with it. So to all of you, I apologize, but I felt like something's not right here. So I hope we can all move on from here. But I'm more than willing to cooperate with you in any way and come in and provide it. In my memo, I asked 3 things. Number 1, that you're present with President Waldron and Solicitor Spurt, Mr. Leeson and Mr. Evans, that you interview the employees in that department, and that you give them, when they come in, a copy of the Pennsylvania Whistleblowers Act, and just inform them they're not going to be retribution against them if they speak up the truth. But if they lie and it's found out, and they're trying to attack her for no reason, I want them held accountable too. I think that's the fairest thing for everybody. So I hope that we can continue to work together like we have for the prior six years. So I appreciate you listening. Thank you.
Mr. Reynolds?